All right, in this section we'll be talking about big numbers. So numbers, both small and large, are important. We need numbers for phone numbers, addresses, and to express the prices of goods. Since inflation is such an issue in many foreign countries, it is good to know large numbers. It is common for a soda in some countries to cost 600 to 1,000 of their monetary unit. Some countries use bolívares, soles, pesos, and colones, among others. An interesting thing about numbers is that where we use the decimal, they use the comma, and where we use the comma, they use the decimal. So, what 1,999 and 98 cents is written like this in English, and in Spanish it looks like this, 1.999 comma 98. So be aware of that, some of those differences, and the importance of big numbers. Now, we've covered 0 through 60 in previous chapters. So what let's do is let's just run through these, kind of review the numbers that we already know, and jump into big numbers. So 0 through 30, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. All right, so there's 0 through 30. Beyond 30, we had 40, 50, 60, 70. Here we're jumping into our new numbers with 70. Notice the difference between 60, almost like the word seis. It has almost a seis in there, right? 60. Similarly, 70 almost has siete, right? Sete, but it's 70, right? So 70. And then we've got 80, 90, and 100. Okay. So once we get to 100, the word for 100 is 100. Beyond that, we start saying ciento. Okay. So 101, 102, 103, 104, 105. Right. So we just say ciento and then tack on the number, whatever number comes beyond that. Right. And we do that all the way up to, right. So let's say 125. So 125, for example. Right? But we keep counting all the way up to 200. When we get to 200, we say 200. Okay, so 200. You'll notice that 200 has a slash AS. Okay, with the hundreds, if you are counting items, chairs, for example, sillas, and you had 200 chairs, you would say 200 sillas. Right? So that's only with the hundreds column that you're going to take into account masculine or feminine if you happen to be describing an item, the number of an item. Right? So anyway, 200, 200, 300, 300, 400, 400, 500, 500, 600, 600, 700, 800, 900, and then we finally arrive at 1,000, which is 1000. Okay? Notice the instead of a comma, we've got that decimal point there. So that is 1,000, 1000. Okay. And then we start counting our thousands. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. If I wanted to combine numbers, for example, 5,400, I would say 5,400. So 5,000, 5,000, and then 400, 400. Okay. All right. Let's see. 25,000, 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. Notice how we're just saying 500, and then once we get to that dot, we say 1,000. So 500,000, 600,000. Right? All the way up 900,000, 900,000, and then we get to millón. Okay? So 1,000,000. Notice with 1,000, we don't actually say the word one. We just say mil. And technically, when we say 1,000,000, we say 1,000,000. So 1,000,000 de dos millones, tres millones, cuatro millones, right? So anyway, those are big numbers. Study those. To combine the numbers, let's take a look at combining numbers. So to write large numbers, such as 960,542, we take it one piece at a time, just like we do in English. We first express 960, right? For that big number, the very first thing we do, as in English, we say 960. And then we say 1,000, where that comma is, right? So 960, so 900, 900, 60, 60, 1,000, mil. Then we say 500, which is 500. Then we say 42, which is 42, right? So 960, 1542. So some other examples. Notice that the hundreds match in number and gender, right? We already mentioned that. So 400 sillas, all right? The number one gets shortened to un from uno when it describes a masculine noun, right? That was mentioned way back in our first chapter, right? So un hombre, okay? If we're describing a masculine noun, masculine singular noun, and we're using the word one, or 21, or 31, or 41, or, right, all the way up to 91, we'd say like 31 hombres, 31 mujeres. Right? If we are expressing the year, especially the year 1901 through 1999, we write it out saying, or we would express that by saying 1900, as with this example, 52. So we actually say 1952. For the year 2000 and above, we 2000 and 2014. So in the year 2014, something happened, for example. Okay, another example, big number, 123,123,000. Another big number, we're going to take it one piece at a time. We're going to start off by saying 200, 200. Then we're going to say 76, 76. Then we're going to say 1,000, 1000. Then we're going to say 900, 900. Then we're going to say 51, 51. Okay. And to practice, we're going to write out the digital form of these numbers. All right, so that'll be some of your homework. You've got a couple of numbers where you're going to write out the word form for the numbers. Some reading comprehension, and then guessing prices. So you're going to do a little research. You can kind of quickly Google the cost of some of these things, like a racing horse or a farm. How much does a farm cost nowadays? Probably a lot. Camper trailer, a quad, minivan, stuff like that. Okay, and that'll be it for the end of this chapter. Big numbers. Again, very useful with travel, especially when it comes to certain countries where inflation is high. You want to make sure that you are paying the right amount for the services and goods that are being received there. So anyway, that's it for this section.